everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Daniela, and one of my passions aside from making cocktails and crafts is cooking, and I reached out to see if anyone wanted to see another cooking video, and I got a positive response. So today we are making a recipe I found on a food group I'm a part of on Facebook called New Mexico Recipes, because I live here in New Mexico, and I knew I just had to try this one. It is Hatch chili and cheese pull-apart monkey bread. So let's jump right in and see how to make it. For this recipe, you will need 1 pack of refrigerator biscuits, some roasted green chili, butter, garlic, and cheeses of choice that will melt. Keep in mind they have to be meltable cheeses. So I am using a Colby-monterey Jack, some muenster, and some cheddar for my recipe. I'm starting by making some garlic butter that I'm eventually going to dip the biscuits into, so I am just throwing into a bowl a couple hunks of butter, about 3 or 4 tablespoons, and I'm chopping up some garlic and just throwing that in there, giving it a stir, and popping it in the microwave for about 30 seconds on 80% power, or you can do it whatever works for you. Just pop it in the microwave till it's nice and melted but not overdone. I think I popped my butter in the microwave for about 5 more seconds after that, but till it's nice and melted down, but it's not overdone so that it's not burning the garlic inside there. That's your perfect point for that garlic butter. Now I'm opening my can of biscuits. I wasn't sure if I would need 1 or 2 cans. The recipe I followed just had generic measurements, nothing specific. So I ended up only needing 1. And what I'm doing with these biscuits are I'm cutting them into 6 pieces each. So cutting them in half and then cutting 2 diagonals so it turns into 6 pieces, almost like a pizza. And then I roll them around and dip them in the garlic butter and throw them in a larger bowl that I'm going to mix all of my ingredients into later. I'm going to do this with all my pieces. I think in retrospect I probably should have cut them all first and then dipped them so that they wouldn't start sticking to each other in the bowl from sitting in melted butter, but it all ended up working out in the end, so no big deal. Next comes the chopping of our cheese. Can you tell I'm from Wisconsin originally? Because I couldn't decide on a cheese and I ended up buying 3. Technically 4 because I bought Parmesan, but that was not for this recipe. So anyways, I'm taking like 2 to 3 slices of each one of my cheeses and just chopping it into small blocks so that it could mix in really well with my biscuits and butter and my Hatch green chili, and that way they're not too big and exploding cheese everywhere. You can add less than this if you're not big on cheese. You can choose which type of cheese you want as long as it's a meltable one. I might have overdone it with the cheese, but it tasted pretty dang good, so I'm not mad about it. So just chopping these all up and throwing them into my bowl with my biscuits. Once I've got all of that in there, I'm gonna bring out my roasted Hatch green chili. This is just a jar of it. It looks like salsa, but it's actually just jarred roasted chilies. And you can pick this up pretty much at any grocery store or general store here in New Mexico. You'd have to do a little bit of research elsewhere. I'm not 1,000% sure how accessible it is, but it is like the hot food item here in New Mexico. So threw some of that in there, about a half cup, and now I'm just mixing it all together and then plopping it down into my pan. There is no rhyme or reason as to how you have to do this, as long as it's just all mixed up and you've got a little bit of cheese, a little bit of biscuit, and a little bit of Hatch green chili in each little section of your bread pan. Now, I will be transparent in that The original recipe said to use mini bread pans. I didn't have any, so I just used a full-size one, and it did come out a bit gooey in the middle. It's really nice and crispy on the outside, but truthfully, I would recommend doing it in muffin tin, so that way you have little single servings and it'll be crusty everywhere. I popped that bad boy into the oven at 400 degrees for 12 to 14 minutes. Like I said, mine was a little bit gooey, which I didn't realize until eating it, so I actually ended up having to transfer it again later, which I'll show you a picture of. But look how delicious that is. It's golden brown and bubbly and delicious, and the edges are nice and crispy. Oh my gosh, this was so incredible. So this is my little tip for getting it out. I just flipped it over onto a paper plate. You could use any plate, a cutting board, whatever. And then once I've got it flipped and everything comes out, I'm going to flip it back over onto another plate. Like here's where you can see it's a bit gooey. I thought it would still be okay, but you know, it was a little bit too soft still in the middle. So you can see that here where it kind of stuck to the pan. I didn't use any spray because I thought the butter would be good enough. That might be another tip too, is use spray. Again, this is my first time making this recipe, so I definitely learned a few lessons on how I'll make it again next time, but I will be making it again, that's for sure. I'll show a picture in a minute here that I did have to put it back into like a cake round pan and bake it again for just a few extra minutes to get a little bit more crispiness. That's also an option, a square pan or a round pan, or like I said, individual servings in a regular sized muffin tin would be a great option. Either way, it was delicious. So this is the finished product. It didn't fully come out the way I thought it would, but I'm thinking that's on me. I think I either used too much cheese or Hatch green chili, but the taste is still going to be great, I'm sure. I'm going to give it a taste test right now. Ooh, it's really hot. It's steaming. It's great. Absolutely delicious. I hope you guys try this out. If you do, let me know. And I will have the ingredients and everything you'll need down in the description box below. Cheers, see you next time.